The Trump administration is reportedly drawing up plans to give Russia relief from their damaging sanctions. The White House hopes by easing the economical hurdles imposed on the Kremlin, then it will help to strengthen international ties, a U.S. official told Reuters. The White House has reportedly asked the State and Treasury departments to draft up a list of sanctions that could be swiftly eased. U.S. officials are expected to then discuss these with fellow Russian representatives in the coming days, the sources said. It is not immediately clear what Washington would ask for in return for any sanctions relief, with pressure mounting to secure a peace deal. It comes just hours after the U.S. president blasted Volodymyr Zelensky in a Truth Social post earlier today as he said, "This guy doesn't want there to be peace." Trump was responding to a quote from the Ukrainian leader in which he said an end to the conflict with Russia is still very, very far away. The Republican, who became embroiled in a heated bust-up with Zelensky in the Oval Office last week, described his quotes as the worst statement that could have been made. His post continued, "America will not put up with it for much longer. It is what I was saying. This guy doesn't want there to be peace as long as he has America's backing," and Europe, in the meeting they had with Zelensky, stated flatly that they cannot do the job without the U.S. Probably not a great statement to have been made in terms of a show of strength against Russia. What are they thinking? Trump's right-hand man in the White House, Elon Musk, also responded to the post as he said, "Zelensky wants a forever war, a never-ending graft meat grinder." The Tesla chief followed it up by simply saying, "This is evil." Trump and Musk's passionate blasts come after Western leaders gathered in London for a talks hosted by the British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and Zelensky, aiming to help forge a peace plan. President Trump is now set to deliver his first joint address to Congress in less than 24 hours, as efforts to end the war with Russia hangs in balance. Taking to his social media platform Truth Social, Trump eerily warned that tomorrow night will be big, adding that he will tell it like it is. Trump also told Zelensky to be more appreciative as he gave a key update on the U.S.-Ukraine minerals deal. It was expected to be signed last week when Zelensky visited Washington. But after Trump unceremoniously booted him out of the White House, the deal was never completed. Responding to a question about if the deal was completely off the table now, Trump said, "I don't think so. It's a great deal for us." He then suggested an update on the agreement could come as soon as tomorrow. Fears also loom as Trump is reportedly preparing to meet with top aides to discuss suspending, or even canceling, U.S. military aid to Ukraine, according to an official who spoke to the New York Times. Trump accused Zelensky of gambling with World War III on Friday, followed by Marco Rubio heaping blame for the spat fiasco on the Ukrainian president. The splintering relations threaten to destabilize the entire Western alliance. But Europe has reacted by standing firm with Ukraine. Trump's ongoing battle over the Ukraine war hit boiling point last week when Zelensky sat down with the president and his VP J.D. Vance. They held a lengthy conversation in the Oval Office before all hell broke loose as Vance and Zelensky argued before Trump berated the Ukrainian leader. The raging U.S. president gave the hero leader a humiliating dressing down and told him to come back when he wanted peace. A snarling Trump then sparked global chaos by booting Zelensky out of the White House over the blistering row. The pair were meant to sign a deal for Ukraine to hand over a large chunk of its mineral wealth as payback for billions of dollars of wartime aid from the U.S. But the deal went unsigned as a humiliated Mr. Zelensky was told to leave the White House early. Europe's Trump dilemma. The U.S. president didn't hold back in his latest attack against the continent as he claimed the U.S. should worry more about migrant rape gangs and drug lords than Putin, or end up like Europe. The president said on Truth Social, "We should spend less time worrying about Putin and more time worrying about migrant rape gangs, drug lords, murderers, and people from mental institutions entering our country so that we don't end up like Europe." He then boasted on Monday in another post that he was the only president who gave none of Ukraine's land to Putin's Russia. Europe is having to grasp the potential reality that it would have to stand up to Russia's meat grinder almost alone if Trump decided to pull the U.S. out of the NATO alliance. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer said on Sunday that the continent needed to start doing the heavy lifting in regards to the bloody Ukraine war. His plea came as he hosted crunch talks in London with European leaders. Defense spending within NATO has been a sore subject for Trump for years, and while the president has not yet actively called for the U.S. to exit the alliance, he has not held back from slamming it. Tesla tycoon and Doge overseer Elon Musk has been vocal in his support for leaving NATO in various social media posts. Trump previously revealed that he doubted the value of spending U.S. money on NATO, as the U.S. was protecting members who were not protecting us. The Republican has also repetitively called for the bloc to double its spending target, and even threatened to quit during his first term. British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer declared he will never choose between the US and Europe. Addressing the Commons after his trip to Washington, D.C., the PM said Trump's furious Oval Office bust-up with Zelensky was something nobody in this House wants to see. But he added, "I do want to be crystal clear, we must strengthen our relationship with America, for our security, for our technology, for our trade and investment. They are and always will be indispensable. And we will never choose between either side of the Atlantic." In fact, Mr. Speaker, if anything, the past week has shown that that idea is totally unserious. Because while some people may enjoy the simplicity of taking a side, this week has shown with total clarity that the U.S. is vital in securing the peace we all want to see in Ukraine. So I welcome the opportunity for a new economic deal with the U.S. confirmed by the president last week, because it's an opportunity I'm determined to pursue. Germany's likely next Chancellor Friedrich Merz says Friday's exchange between Trump and Zelensky was a manufactured escalation. The clash saw the Ukrainian leader asked to leave the White House. Merz says Europe is now under pressure to act quickly. We must now show that we are in a position to act independently in Europe. President Volodymyr Zelensky has said there is a long way to go to reach the end of the war with Russia. He told Sky News that Ukraine needed specific security guarantees and any agreement needed to be honest and stable. Zelensky said, "Ukraine will never recognize territories that are occupied by Russia as Russian territory. For us, this will be temporary occupations. Our territories and our values are not for sale. Our freedoms are not for sale. We're paying a high price for the fact Russia has brought this onto us." The turbulent week in politics comes as fighting within Ukraine continues to escalate.